Oh, hi! I was just looking under my Christmas tree, and guess what I found? I found my Nutcracker. I love my Nutcracker. It always reminds me of the holidays. It's got a mouth that moves up and down because you're supposed to put a nut in his mouth, and then crack, he cracks the nuts. This Nutcracker is painted like a toy soldier, and I love setting him around my house during the holidays. It reminds me of such good holiday memories. And you know what? I know a story about a Nutcracker just like this one. Let's go find out all about our holiday stories. But first, we have to sing our Storytime song. Hands go up, hands come down. I can turn myself around. I can stand on one shoe. I can listen, so can you. Let's sit down, I'll show you how. Story time is starting now. It's time for story time. Okay, it's time for a holiday story time. And I am all ready. I've got my Nutcracker friend here, and we are all ready for a special story time. Our story today is The Nutcracker. It's a great holiday favorite of mine. I hope you will enjoy it too. But first, before I read my books, I like to wonder. I wonder about my books. So let's look at our story. It's called The Nutcracker. And I can see we have a Nutcracker right here. We've got a little girl who's holding her Nutcracker. And if we flip to the back of the book, there's a beautiful ballerina dancing. So I bet this is going to be a really neat story. If you know the story, I hope you'll enjoy it. If you don't know the story, you are in for a treat. The Nutcracker. It was Christmas Eve at the Stahlbaum's house. Marie and her little brother Fritz were listening at the ballroom door, waiting for the party to begin. Everyone was dancing when the last guest arrived. "Godfather!" cried Marie, rushing back to greet him. Herr Drosselmeyer was not only Marie's godfather, but he was also a famous toy maker. He could make toys that moved and clocks that called the hours as sweetly as a nightingale. That looks like a fun holiday party to be at. Herr Drosselmeyer brought presents for the children. He gave Fritz a box of toy soldiers. For Marie there were 2 dolls, Harlequin and Columbine, who danced with each other. "I have another present for you, Marie," said Herr Drosselmeyer, handing her a wooden Nutcracker. "I want you to take good care of him." "Not fair!" shouted Fritz. "She has 3 presents." He grabbed the Nutcracker from Marie and tossed him in the air. The Nutcracker crashed to the floor and broke his head. "So what?" jeered Fritz. "It was an ugly thing anyway." Herr Drosselmeyer bound Nutcracker's head with his handkerchief. Tenderly, Marie took Nutcracker into her arms and put him underneath the Christmas tree. That That was not very nice of her brother to break her brand new toy. I wouldn't like it if someone did that to me. Outside in the street, the carriages waited. After a flurry of goodbyes, Fritz and Marie were sent to bed. But my poor Nutcracker is all alone, thought Marie, tiptoeing back downstairs. Holding Nutcracker close, she soon fell asleep. Herr Drosselmeyer slipped into the room and, raising his hand, cast a bit of magic. What sort of magic do you think he's going to do? Bong! 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 The grandfather clock struck midnight. Marie stirred and rubbed her eyes. The Christmas tree was growing. Around her came a scampering of mice. Squeak, 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 squeak. They were gathering like an army to attack. Their ruler was the Mouse King, who had 7 heads and 7 crowns. Marie held Nutcracker and ran as fast as she could. Oh no, they're being attacked by rats. Nutcracker leapt out of Marie's arms and held his sword at the ready. Fritz's toy soldiers took their battle positions. Swords flashed and cannons fired. Boom, boom, squeak, squeak, squeak. Nutcracker fought bravely, but the Mouse King was stronger. Oh no, it looks like the rats might win. No, cried Marie, you shall not hurt him. She pulled off her shoe and threw it with all her might at the Mouse King. That was really brave. With a hiss, the Mouse King sank to the floor. Gathering up their king, the mice dragged him away. From the shadows, Herr Drosselmeyer saw Marie's bravery. He raised his hand, and the Nutcracker was transformed into a handsome prince. The prince bowed to Marie and placed the Mouse King's sparkling crown upon her head. The Nutcracker became a real person. Come, said the prince. They walked through falling snowflakes to a waiting boat that blew them through the night. See all the dancing snowflakes? Welcome to my kingdom, said the prince. But where are we? Asked Marie. You're in the land of sweets, said the sugar plum fairy, coming through the gates of the kingdom. Welcome home, dear prince. We will have a party to celebrate your return. Oh boy, he lives in a kingdom full of sweets. That sounds pretty yummy. The sugar plum fairy led the prince and Marie to the seat of honor. Coffee, chocolate, Chinese tea, marzipan, Mother Ginger, and her polichinelles all danced for them. Pink roses waltzed. At last, the sugar plum fairy danced. She seemed lighter than air. Whoa. Too soon, it was time to leave. As they flew homeward, Marie asked the prince, "Will I ever see you again?" The prince replied, "One day your courage and kind heart will be rewarded, but don't forget me." time to go back home. "What are you doing under the tree, Marie?" her mother said the next morning. "Wake up!" said Herr Drosselmeyer. Marie opened her eyes and hugged her toy Nutcracker. She whispered, "If only you were alive, I wouldn't care if my little brother said you were ugly. I'd love you anyway." Herr Drosselmeyer raised his hand, and poof, the Nutcracker again became the Prince of Fairyland. The Prince said to Marie, "The Mouse King imprisoned me under an evil spell. Because you love me no matter what I look like, his spell is broken, and I have been returned to my true form." He's not a toy at all. He's a real person underneath an evil spell. Years passed, and the Prince and Marie became engaged. After their wedding, they rode to the land of sweets in a coach trimmed in gold, drawn by 4 silver horses. To this day, there are those who say Marie is the queen of a wondrous fairyland that only those who believe can see. And that is the end of our story. By believing, Marie got to go to the magical fairyland with the Nutcracker Prince. I love that story. It's a great holiday classic. And I love my Nutcracker because he reminds me of the story and of all sorts of other fun holidays in the past. For me, the Nutcracker is a symbol of a holiday tradition. There are a bunch of different holidays in December and a bunch of different symbols that represent traditions in those holidays. So let's take a quick look at some of the things that we see in December and what they could possibly mean. Let's go. I found some holiday symbols. Can you help me figure out what holiday traditions they represent? First, here's an ornament. What traditions do we do with an ornament? We use ornaments to decorate the tree. That's a great holiday tradition. We can make the tree so pretty and sparkly and festive. Good job! Here's a hat that's red and white. What tradition does this hat represent? This is Santa's hat. Santa is a great holiday tradition. Good job! Here's an object that looks kind of like a big sock. It's called a stocking. What holiday traditions does a stocking represent? Some people hang stockings by the fireplace and put presents underneath a tree. That's a great holiday tradition that some people do to celebrate Christmas. This is called a dreidel. What holiday traditions can you do with a dreidel? If you celebrate Hanukkah, you might use a dreidel to play a fun game. You spin the dreidel and then can win prizes. What holiday tradition uses this? This is a kinara, and it's a symbol of Kwanzaa. If you celebrate Kwanzaa, you light the candles in the kinara on the different days of the celebration. They represent different symbols of Kwanzaa. Great job! We've found a whole bunch of symbols representing different holiday traditions.
But now it's time for a song and dance, so let's head back to the library.
Okay, it is time for our special song, and our song today is a Jingle Bell Dance. I love jingle bells. They always remind me of the holidays when I hear them. So our dance today, you are going to take your jingle bells. If you don't have any jingle bells, that's okay. You can just pretend you're holding some in your hand. I've got some on a little loop here. And for our jingle bell dance, we're going to shake our jingle bells all around. We're going to shake them high. We're going to shake them low. We're going to shake them really, 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 really fast. And we're going to shake them slow. Great job. It's a fun dance. Just listen to what it says to do, and then shake your jingle bells that same way, okay? Let's do it.
Jingle, jingle, little bell, I can ring my little bell. Ring it fast, ring it slow, ring it high, ring it low. Jingle, jingle, little bell, I can ring my little bell. Ring it fast, ring it slow. Ring it high, ring it low. Jingle, jingle, little bell, I can ring my little bell. Ring it over here, ring it over there, ring it everywhere. Jingle, jingle, little bell, I can ring my little bell. Ring it over here, ring it over there, ring it everywhere. Jingle, jingle, little bell, I can ring my little bell.
Thanks for joining me for Storytime. I had a lot of fun this week. I hope you did too. I will see you next year in 2021. But come back next week for Amy C's last Storytime of the year. See you later.